Hello and welcome to Next Level English. Today we begin an exciting story that will keep you listening until the very end. So relax and enjoy. It was a rainy Monday morning when Emma boarded the 7:45 train to the city. She sat by the window, as she always did, holding her coffee in one hand and her favorite book in the other. She was tired. The weekend had been long, and she wasn't ready to face another busy day at work. As the train started moving, Emma opened her book and tried to read, but something felt strange. The train was quiet. Too quiet. Normally people were talking, typing on their phones, or listening to music. But today, everyone seemed silent. Then it happened. A voice, soft, low, and mysterious, came through the speakers of the train. It wasn't the usual announcement voice. It said, "If you are hearing this, you have been chosen." Emma froze. She looked around. Did anyone else react? Nobody moved. People kept reading, scrolling, or staring out the window like nothing happened. She took off one of her earbuds. Maybe it was from her phone. But no, her music was still playing. The voice hadn't come from her phone. It had come from the train speakers. Or had it? Emma's heart began to race. The voice spoke again. "At exactly 8:12, you must stand and walk to the fourth car. Do not speak to anyone. Do not hesitate." This time she was sure. The voice was real, but still, no one else looked surprised. "Is this a joke?" she whispered to herself. She checked her watch. It was 8:06. What should she do? Was someone playing a prank? Was it part of a game? Or something more serious? Emma looked around once more. The man in front of her yawned. The woman beside her kept scrolling through her phone. No one noticed anything strange. 8:10. 2 minutes left. She felt her heartbeat in her chest. Her fingers trembled slightly. Should she do what the voice said? What would happen if she didn't? Then something strange happened. The train lights flickered. Just once. No one seemed to notice. That was enough for Emma. She stood up. Her legs felt heavy as she began to walk toward the fourth car. She didn't speak. She didn't look at anyone. She just moved forward. The train rocked gently as she walked. Each step felt like a step into something unknown. Finally, she reached the door to the fourth car. She took a deep breath and opened it. Here's part 2 of our story. If you haven't heard part 1, go back and listen first. Emma stepped into the fourth car. It looked normal. A little old, maybe. The lights were slightly dim and the windows were foggy from the rain outside. But it was just another train car. At first, there were only 3 other people inside. A tall man in a dark coat, a young woman with short red hair, and a boy who looked no older than 10. They were all sitting quietly, facing forward, not moving. Emma slowly walked in and sat near the middle. No one looked at her. Then the door behind her closed with a click. The voice returned, not from the speakers this time, but from somewhere in the car itself. "Welcome. You are now part of the test." Emma's breath caught in her throat. The man in the coat stood up. "First time?" he asked, his voice low but kind. Emma nodded. "What is this?" she whispered. He smiled slightly. "You'll see." Before she could ask more, the lights dimmed again. The windows turned pitch black, as if the outside world disappeared. A screen dropped down from the ceiling at the front of the car. Words appeared in white letters. "Listen carefully. Your choices will shape your path." Then a short recording began to play. A voice, female, soft, clear, began to speak. "You are walking through a forest. It is dark and cold. You hear something behind you. Do you turn around or do you keep walking? The screen then displayed two options. A. Turn around. B. Keep walking. Emma looked around. The others were silent, as if waiting. The boy reached up and pressed B on a small button panel next to his seat. Nothing happened. Then the woman pressed A. Still, silence. Emma noticed her own panel. Two buttons, A and B. She took a deep breath and pressed A. The screen blinked. Then the voice returned. Your choice has been recorded. Suddenly the lights came back on. The windows returned to normal. The city outside was still rainy and gray. But something was different. The people in the car were now looking at her. All of them. The man in the coat said, You chose to face what's behind you. That's rare. Emma blinked. What does that mean? You'll find out, he said. Then the train started slowing down. We're here, the red-haired woman said. Emma looked out the window. She didn't recognize the station. It wasn't on her usual route. She looked at the sign. There was no name. Just a symbol. A simple white circle with a black line through it. The door opened. The others stood and walked out. Emma hesitated. Should she follow them or stay on the train? The voice returned one last time. This is your stop, Emma. She stood up and stepped out into the unknown. This is part 3 of our story, The Mysterious Voice on the Train. Let's see what happens to Emma next. Emma stepped off the train. The air was colder here, not winter cold, but different. The kind of cold that made your skin tingle and your mind feel alert. The platform was empty. No other people, no announcements, no sounds, except the soft hum of the train behind her. She turned to look, but the train was already gone. Vanished. There were no tracks behind her now, only mist. In front of her was the station, small, quiet. The walls were made of old gray bricks, and a single wooden door stood in the center. Above it, that strange white circle with the black line. Emma looked around. The others were gone. The tall man, the woman, the boy, vanished too. She swallowed hard. Okay, stay calm. Just figure this out. She pushed the door open. It didn't creak or resist. Instead, it opened smoothly into a long hallway, lit by warm yellow lights. The floor was made of black and white tiles. The air smelled faintly of old books and something sweet, like vanilla. She walked slowly. Her footsteps echoed. At the end of the hallway, there was a large room, like a library or an old classroom. Wooden tables, bookshelves, and in the center, a large chalkboard. On it, in white chalk, were the words, Everything begins with a choice. Emma stepped closer. The moment she touched the chalkboard, a door on the side of the room opened. This time she saw someone, an old woman in a red scarf. Her eyes were kind but sharp. Emma, she said, you're early. You know my name? Of course. We've been waiting for you. Emma felt a chill. What is this place? The woman smiled. It's a place between questions and answers, between reality and possibility. I don't understand. You will, in time. The woman handed her a small book. The cover was blank, but the pages inside were filled with symbols, some familiar, some not. This is yours now. You'll need it. What do I do with it? Listen, learn, choose wisely. Suddenly a bell rang. Not loud, but clear. It echoed through the halls. The woman said, Class is starting. Emma followed her through another door. Inside was a room filled with people, young, old, all silent, sitting at desks. In front of them, another chalkboard. This time the board read, What would you do if you could not fail? Emma sat down. The seat had her name on it. As she opened her book, the lights dimmed slightly. The woman spoke again, louder this time. You are here because the world needs listeners, observers, thinkers. The next test will reveal who you truly are. Emma felt a strange calm. Whatever this place was, it was bigger than she thought. And her journey was only beginning. Here's part 4 of our story. The mysterious voice on the train. If you haven't heard the first 3 parts yet, go listen first. Emma sat quietly in the classroom. The woman in the red scarf stood in front of the chalkboard. She looked at everyone in the room and said, "Your first challenge is simple, but not easy." She turned to the board and wrote 3 words: trust, fear, truth. Then she turned back. Each of you will walk into a room. Inside, you'll be asked a question. You must answer honestly. If you lie, you'll have to start over. If you tell the truth, you can move forward. Emma felt her heart beat faster. What kind of question? Who will ask it? The woman pointed to a small door at the side of the room. Emma, you're first. Everyone turned to look. Emma stood slowly. Her legs felt heavy, but she walked to the door and opened it. Inside, the room was dark, except for a single chair in the middle. She sat down. A light above her turned on. And then, a voice spoke. Not the woman's voice, not the voice from the train. It was her own, but older, wiser. "Emma," it said, "what are you most afraid of?" Emma's eyes widened. She didn't expect that. She stayed silent for a moment. Then she whispered, "Being forgotten." There was a pause. Then the voice said, "Truth accepted. Proceed." The door in front of her opened. Emma walked through. She was now in a hallway, long, empty, but this time the lights were red. Want to see what happens next in part 2? Hit subscribe and keep watching.